dream don't get no harder. It's easy once you start it. No use in running away. Mr. Panting said you got it.
Yeah, you got that, and it feels so good to be on track. Even when you fall down, ain't no other way around. Your success is determined by your bounce back. Dream.
Hey, welcome to Hamilton Radio, Avas Casual Chat, Teens with Dreams with Mr. Panting. And we are all set to get the show rolling. We had some technical difficulties, so please bear with us as we try to move forward today. First of all, we want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, International Internet Radio Hall of Fame host, Jerry Petito, and also the Logan Bros for that fabulous song they created for Teens with Dreams. And we are here, Avis Casual Chat, Teens with Dreams. I think we lost Mr. Panting there, but he'll be back. So is this what you're saying, Steve? Oh, you're here? Okay, I just can't see you. I don't know if I can, is there any way you can tell it to me? Because if I pull that up, I'm going to lose my channel, myself for a minute, and I don't want to do that.
Give me 1 second. It
sure.
is truelivingleaders.com.
Oh, that's easy. truelivingleaders.com.
And then you go to the events page. So it would be truelivingleaders.com /events /Journey to Success Summit.
Journey to Success Summit. Okay, well, since we started with that, even before we do intros, tell us a little bit about that, Christy or Tony. What is that event so we can tell the viewers, and then I'll put that out there again.
I'm going to be really excited about it, so I'm going to let Christy go first. Ladies first.
All right,
Hey,
the
everyone, by the
Journey
way.
to Success Summit is an event that the True Living Network, Tony and Mike Peluso, and some big names in the publishing world, Gary Krebs and Rick Frischman, have come together to put out to people to make some serious transformations beginning 2021. I'm excited to be a part of the event coming up, just because, as we were talking about earlier, making connections is kind of a big deal. And
we're going to talk about that too. Yeah.
This is going to be an opportunity to make some really life-changing connections, not just a bunch of talking heads, but like an opportunity to really connect with and create things with people in positions that make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my understanding, my take of what's coming.
Are you speaking? Are you speaking, Christy, at it?
I am not. I'm
okay.
kind of behind the scenes.
Gotcha. Okay.
She's one of the brilliant masterminds running the show, the wizard behind the Oz, making sure
Of course she is. Tony, tell us a little about the event. We'll get into the intros right after this, so people can jump right on and hear about this.
Sure, and I'm so excited. This is probably the biggest event we've ever thrown. And Ava, you and I have thrown a lot of events together throughout the years. This is an amalgam of just some of the top 50 international speakers worldwide. This originally started with Rick Frischman, who, raise your hand if you ever heard of Brendon Burchard, if you ever heard of Tim Ferriss, if you ever heard of Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, T. Harv Eckert. I can keep going. He literally is the gentleman that gave them their start. We talked about the wizard behind the Oz. He's the kingmaker. He gave them a platform. Nobody knew who they were, right? He's done with over 200 gigantic names that we all know today. New York Times bestseller, Spencer Johnson, you can keep going. The bottom line is he approached me and Gary Krebs. And Gary is one of the top literary agents in the world. He's been in publishing for 30 years. He was the publisher of the largest book of all time. I should say best-selling book of all time outside the Bible, which is the Guinness Book of World Records. He did Grant Cardone's 10X. He did Dean Kuntz's books. I mean, many celebrities, Gloria Gaynor, you name it, he's done. And so it was those two approaching little old me to grow the virtual Author 101, where Tim Ferriss and Brendon Burchard got their start. We brought it to our dear friend Mike Peluso, which, Ava, you know Mike very well. Mike's I know Jerry knows Mike as well. Mike is, in my opinion, the best personal growth self-development coach worldwide, bar none. And I've been around, like Tony Robbins's people and so forth. In my opinion, he's the best. So it became this amalgam of the absolute best in publishing, the absolute best in cinema and Hollywood. Like, who wants to write a book? But then who wants to take their book to be a bestseller? Then who wants to take their book that's a bestseller to something cinematic on Netflix or Sony or even a smaller venue like Pluto, right? And how do you do that? Well, you do it by getting access to these producers, getting access to people that can bring you in to that space. Or maybe you just want to show up powerfully more on camera, right? And then it evolved into,
Right.
well, we know this business leader, that business leader. So we have people like the former president of Verizon, who's now with HBO. We have the president of the Tesla Foundation, my dear friend Will, who created, the autonomy for Ford
I spoke with him
Motor.
last week. I spoke with Will last week.
Yeah, he loves you. He loves you. We had a good talk about it. I have to talk to you about that offline, actually. Yeah.
Cool.
He's building homeless communities worldwide right now with Rudy. Rudy from the movie Rudy. And by the way, we have Rudy speaking. So we have these three different verticals, make a long story short, of publishing, anyone that's ever wanted business and inspiration. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sean Astin, or do you mean the real Rudy?
No, the real Rudy. Like, he's 73 years old now, and he's still got more energy than most 20-year-olds. I love the guy. I'm actually going to be on the phone with him in a little bit today.
He's in the movie. He makes a guest appearance in the movie at the end.
You didn't even tell me.
Yeah, I'll have to show you that sometime. It's pretty cool.
It's amazing. You serious?
I think our audio's a little off at times, but I think we're okay. So let's put this out there. First of all, before I put that link out there again, what is the date of that? Do you guys know the date and time?
January 16th and 17th.
Yeah, the date is
10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yep.
16th and 17th, 10 to 5, and it's on a Zoom, what is it on?
It is on a Yard stream. And so basically, yeah. And so can you maybe drop that link in there?
Only the engineer can do that, and with the troubles we're having today, I don't know, but I'm gonna say it again, and people will be able to see it again on Facebook so they can get it again if they need to write it down. So it's truelivingleaders.com/events/journey to success summit, January 16th and 17th. 10 to 5 on Yardstream. And you can always inbox me on Facebook if you need to get the information again, and I can maybe send it to you privately if anyone out there, can't get it by me reading it. If you need to get it again or forget, just inbox me or Tony or Christy, and they can get you the information, as we're all on Facebook. So easy peasy.
Yep. And at the end, I want to make a special announcement with that, but we'll save that to the end, grand finale.
Okay. All right, cool. So right now, let me get to some. I just got a message from Marco. He wasn't feeling well the other day. Wasn't sure he was going to make the show, and he said he's not feeling too good right now. So we'll just keep him in our thoughts, and if he can jump back on, great. Christy, tell us a little bit. I mean, I really want to get into these powerful connections because I'm so awed that I know Tony all these years. I know you just a few months, yet I feel like I know both of you my whole life. And I found out just this morning that, Christy, you were Tony's executive assistant. I mean, I had no idea. That's so funny. So tell me a little bit, or tell all of us a little bit about how you got started. Like, how did you get to where you are now?
I started out as an author, independently published. I published my first book in 2016. I've run the gamut. I've done everything I could possibly do without having a substantial budget to, take things to the next level. In the process of doing that, I figured out that one of two things needs to happen. Either I need to really substantially make more money, or I need to make better connections with people that are in a place that can help take me to the next level. Get people that matter. I don't know a better way to say it than that, but to get people that are in positions of not necessarily authority, but access to where I want to be. And so I started reaching out. I decided that I was going to go into real estate investing to start making some passive income, buying some properties that would send me passive income that would feed my ad spend budget. That was my goal. And then I met Anthony through Ryan. And all of a sudden I'm getting introduced to Mike and the True Living Network, and really getting to meet some amazing people. And now working with them, you and I working together on some different things.
I can't wait. I'm so excited about that.
I literally, I have so many things that have come from that it's like, you know, I mean, I have people calling me now who they've had a real estate thing come across their desk, or, you know, it's just kind of come to them, and now they're getting sent to me and like, hey, what do you think of this? And what do you
that's
think
awesome.
of that? And, you know, phone calls weekly. Hey, I'm running into this problem. Can you help me sort it out? Hey, I need this, or hey, I need that. And I was like, I never in a million years expected that to happen.
Well, you're positioned as the expert now through the various things that you've gone through. I mean, I think we're all in that place that we've gone through so much that we know so much about the area we're carving out for ourselves that, you know, people start to hear that, you know.
Right. And it has literally been because the people that are talking about me now, which was a big part of where the disconnect was. I had all this stuff going on, but nobody knew it. I wasn't getting it out there. I wasn't making connections. And when Anthony and I met, the connection part wasn't what, I mean, there was a degree of that. I was like, I need to connect with people that have money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The connection really wasn't relevant if what I was doing wasn't something that they were interested in. I could talk all day long about my Forward Progress program, but unless they actually had an interest in doing that kind of work, the connection was irrelevant. It was great to know them. It was great to have that conversation, but it wasn't. And then after that, it's kind of spread out from there. There's, you know, well, we made the connection and they weren't interested in Forward Progress, so we hadn't talked again. But then all of a sudden, you know, we get into this the event coming together. And now Anthony Rosa and I had a conversation a while back about real estate. I got invited to his Roundtable Remedies group.
Yeah, I'm in his group too. He seems awesome.
He's amazing. And we're reconnecting, even though we connected months ago.
Yeah, that's funny. And I agree with that because my wealth is my connections. And some of them are not in the path that I'm traveling, yet you never know when that person will be able to connect you to somebody else who is. Exactly. So I think it's so important to keep all of those, you know, connections, you know, stay in touch and keep them going, whether they're working for you or not. But I know exactly how you feel about that. And Tony, what about you? So how did you get to where you are? I could probably tell that, but I'll let you tell it.
You can tell that. Yeah, you could. You really could. So I want to, first of all, can you hear me clear? You can hear me pretty clear? Okay, cool. So audio check. I just want to comment real quick off of what you were saying both is that, you know, with connecting, so the answer is one word, you know, connections. And it's everything that you've already said, right? So, you know, you always have a mental Rolodex of all the people that you know, right? And it's always wise to know, this is like an example, right? Ken Cragen, right? You just put Ken Cragen in touch with Andrew back again, right? And with Will from Tesla Foundation, right? Ken Cragen, you know, We Are the World, Hands Across America. And you probably hadn't talked to Ken in a little while, but you know, you found something where Ken fits the mold, and you're like, oh, pull this guy in. It makes sense.
I love Ken. Ken is amazing. Oh.
Sure, yeah, a brilliant man. He's like 90. He's going on 30. I mean, brilliant man, the guy. You know, and so to answer your question directly, it's the one word connections, and that's what I always encourage everyone. A lot of times people don't understand connect the dots, right? Life is about, in my opinion, connecting the dots. It's always about that, right? And then having conversations with people that have made like billions of dollars and them saying the same thing pretty much. You know, I was on with, again, our dear friend Will, speaking a lot about him from the Tesla Foundation. You know, Will helped Jurassic Park get funded and Fast and Furious and so many build projects around the world. And Will was saying, you know, I would be the bottleneck, okay, if I didn't know how to put together teams, if I didn't know how to call upon people, point blank, humbly, if I didn't know how to ask for help. Literally, it's what he told me. And he said, how would I build my first company from one employee in my garage to 2,000 people and sell it for $165 million, he tells me, if I was the bottleneck? right? So it's always about people. So, with me, this, I was a young kid and, apparently from what Christy and you say, thank you for the compliment.
You mean you're not a young kid? Never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Maybe I don't look much older than them, but I'm 39 now. I can't believe I'm going to be 40 in a few months. It's like crazy, but I'm 23 years old. I met our dear friend Andrew, who was my first mentor, and Andrew saw something in me, right? And I was a quiet, shy kid, and I remember our first company, Limu. He put me in front of like 7 people to speak at a table. And this is a young kid that failed public speaking in college, nevertheless high school. And I spoke about 7 people it was at Frank Abbott's house, if you remember, right over there in Mays Landing, Galloway. I think it was Galloway. And I spoke, and I was like, terrified to speak in front of 7 people. A year and 8 months later, I was in front of 3,000 people speaking at international conferences, right? And then I met, people like Kurt Angle, who was my first like named person that was a hero. And I, at the time, told him about Limu because I listened. You always have to have, so here's a good takeaway. You have to have an ear for listening. Like I talk a lot. We joke about that. I do talk a lot, but people have told me you listen as much as you talk. And I believe God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And you have to have that listening. Rosa talks a lot about that attentive listening. And so Kurt was telling me how he was addicted to painkillers at the time. He was in Sports Illustrated, was very public. And we had a product, Limu, that we all used for many years that was an anti-inflammatory, and we believed it can help him. And it did, thankfully. And Hulk Hogan called him and started working with him with his company down in Universal Studios and got back to wrestling again. And he wrestled for another 15 years, many, many world championships. And he attributes, he said, "Ant, you saved my career and possibly my life." He told me, he sent me a thing that said it too. And, we became partners for about a decade. And then, we met, through our years, Ratty Gaines and these other people together. And I met Len Davis through Kurt, Hollywood producer. I met other Hollywood producers through those different angles, no pun intended. And you have to have that ear for listening. And I always say this is so key. So one takeaway is have the ear for listening. Another takeaway is you want to fill the baseball diamond, right? And what's that mean? The baseball diamond is no one's ever won a World Series by having 9 incredible pitchers, right? 9, that's how you win, right? You fill in the gaps, like the best pitcher is the worst catcher, and the best catcher is the worst pitcher. And that's why once a year for every position, there's an award called the Golden Glove. And to my knowledge, it used to be, maybe it's changed now, but only one player ever won it in 2 different positions. Craig Biggio from Spring Lake, New Jersey, by the way. We used to trick or treat over his house when we were younger. But really that's how you win. And so we are, as human beings, we'll go back to our buddy Paul Skolarski, right? He said remember Paul used to say, people like people that, are like them, that they want to be like, all right? Or that they, I always say this wrong, that like them.
Know, like, and trust.
Yeah, people buy from people they know, like, and trust, but it's the 3 likes. But basically, it's people that are like, that they want to be like, or like them. That's what it is, right? So, at the end of the day is that if we want to naturally gravitate to being around people like us, like I'm a very front end person, obviously I'm very extrovert, but I need to bring aboard introverts in the back end, right? The people that are brilliant in computers. And I say this, everybody watching is a genius, all right? In 1, maybe 2 things. And if your genius is what you love, and you're really good at it, good being defined better than 95% of the world. You don't need to be in the top 1%, but better than 95% of the world. And if they match, right, that's your dharma, and hire what you're not. Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank talks about that a lot. He's a tremendous salesperson. He hates logistics. So he's got to hire a back-end logistics person, right? And if you fill that baseball diamond with the people that you're not, that is how you win a World Series. That's my whole point of it.
What does Sandra say? Surround yourself with the right people,
Correct.
So if it's not working, it's not working. You have to keep going until you find that connection that works for you, like Christy said, and do it that way. But let me ask you this much. How do you think, you just made a comment that you're an extreme extrovert. How do you think you went from being that shy kid, and this will speak to some of Marco's people, how did you go from that shy kid to being an extreme extrovert? Can you think you can pinpoint that?
Yeah, I do. I think that there was something always in me. and this is where, so to throw it back at Mike Peluso, if you've never heard of True Living, please check out True Living. I think it's True Living, TrueLivingLeaders.com. And, every Wednesday they have a mastermind they meet to at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. People like Mike is the proverbial Michelangelo. You meet someone like Mike. In my instance, it was initially Andrew. Now it's Mike. Mike's helping me get to the next level, but at the end of the day is that you hire a coach, you bring aboard a mentor because they can see what you can't, right? Because the part of the brain that helps other people is a very different part of the brain that helps yourself, right? The frontal lobe that helps yourself, the introspective part. A lot of times we have these traumas, these blind spots, right? And a lot of times we need that Michelangelo to remove what we're not, to reveal our proverbial David, right? And so I think at the end of the day, I would watch the movies, Ava. I would watch, first of all, wrestling. I would watch Shawn Michaels, my all-time favorite wrestler. I even tell Kurt, you're number 2, Shawn's number 1. And I met Shawn twice. I can't say we're friends, but I met him twice. And, Shawn was this, everything I wasn't. He was this flamboyant, charismatic guy on the mic. All the girls loved him. He was like this cool guy. And I would want to be like Shawn Michaels. I remember that, and then there was other people, I was just watching on TV, like, someone maybe like Iron Man, right? Where, Tony Stark's very quick, very witty. And I felt like I had that in me, but I was too shy. And I met an Andrew who kind of almost gave me that permission to be me and showed me the ways. There's one thing, it's like your state of being, then there's your story, and then there's the strategy, like the 3 S's. Tony Robbins talks a lot about that. So my story, was that I felt like I was that person, but I was really, really shy, But once I had permission, so to speak, and I think that's a big thing. We could have a whole topic on that alone, which, by the way, we're going to speak about that at the event. Our dear friend Forbes Riley speaks about permission granted. We have a lot. We're going to speak about permission. Who do you need permission from? Your mom, your dad, your neighbor, your cousin, your wife, to be the ultimate version of you, yourself, right? It's really yourself. We think it's everyone else, but it's really ourselves. But so I think the moment shifted was when Andrew saw something in me. So it was another human being recognizing something in me. Andrew was an extreme extrovert, and even more than me. We love Andrew. Andrew won't shut up, right? But I saw this guy, the ability to meet someone in 45 seconds, seeing it, getting gas, finding out who they are, who they serve, and exchanging phone numbers and doing business with them and so much. And I was just like, I would marvel at Andrew's ability to do that. And I watched, right? And repetition's the mother of retention, and repetition's also the mother of skill. And eventually I started doing that. And you got to be good for your great. You got to be bad for your good, and good for your great, Jim Collins, right? So it was like that repetition. I was home on a Friday night at 23, 24 years old, making phone calls to people, getting hung up on a Friday night, and you get to a point where you build a reputation and you're able now to make calls where people don't really hang up on you because they know you come with clout, so to speak. They know your network. They know your team, so to speak. And you got to get there, but you got to be bad for your good and good for your great. So anyone can shift. It's just a matter of finding that right person to help them and believing in themselves. I know that sounds cliche, but then just doing. And over repetition, your neurology will change and you will become that person.
Right. And it's hard for a lot of people to see that in themselves. Like you said, you had to have somebody else saw it in you, which is awesome. Christy, do you feel the same way? I mean, I don't know how you were as far as like shy or not shy, but I don't know you that long. But I mean, do you feel that somebody turned it around for you, or did you just plug away and do it yourself? I mean, I'm just curious.
I'll be honest. My turnaround point literally was meeting with Anthony. We had been talking about the summit going on, and there were a lot of things that hosting online events was something that I had done a lot of over the years. Since I started publishing books, that was one of the things that it's a promotional method for promoting a book. You do a book release. You have a big event. You invite a bunch of people, and you sell copies of the book at the event. They were talking about doing one of these, and I was like, in my head, I mean, there was this pool inside of me that was like, I need to be a part of this event. And I didn't know anybody well enough at that point other than Anthony to be able to just kind of, Anthony and I had connected to the point that we could just talk as friends. And I told him one day, and I got a little loud and I got a little angry about it because I was like, I need people to understand I need to be there. And so it was that turning point, having somebody that I knew I could say that to. that would make a difference.
Yeah. It's amazing what triggers us and what makes the difference, right?
I
Right.
kind of twisted Anthony's arm and was like, dude, it's going to fail if I'm not there. It's just not going to happen.
And can I comment on that too, Ava? Can I comment real quick?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Christy. So Christy has this thing about her that separates her, and I see it, right? And I see it. Other people see it, and unfortunately, sometimes when and I dealt with this with my bonehead friends. You know this, my high school friends. I met you when we started Limu. You naturally want to bring what you're excited about to the people around you. A lot of times you grew up with. And my friends were not that group of people. I love them with all my heart. I grew up with them. I still love them. But you love them where they're at. I needed to kind of, we're 8 billion people. We're all equal. I talk about that all the time. But some people are further along career-wise. And sometimes you have to level up because those crabs, the old analogy, will try to pull you back into that bucket. You got to level up to like that new bucket, to those new crabs. And you got to level up past that. And, Christy has something. And with her, it was just getting a little bit out of her old network, not talking bad about anyone, but leveling up to a newer network as well. And of course, she has wonderful people like Henry.
What works for you. It doesn't have to be good, bad. It has to be what works for you.
Exactly. Yeah, they're not bad. I mean, some of my friends reach out to me, and they're some of the funniest people I know from high school, and they make me laugh, and they have their place, and I have my place with them. But I think that's really important to recognize. And we're not going to talk a lot about this, but one thing I just want to say is that, I was down for 3 years. Okay, I was down for 3 years, and I said this year I don't want to talk about that. Like I just don't. I have people that are mentors and coaches to me. I have my buddy Seth. He's in California. I don't know if he's watching. He's a little younger than me, and he's helping with some stuff with brain. Mike Peluso.
Younger than you? Is he 9?
He's 9. Yeah, he's 7. He's one of those prodigies. I have Mike Peluso a lot. I have Mike once a week where he goes and he does neural pathway healing and reconnecting with brain and things like that. I have Dr. Russ Court. Okay, who's one of the top brain doctors, and he deals with EMF and, cell phones and Wi-Fi and putting the brain back together, and I have these wonderful team of people. And the mistake I made, Ava, for a very long time, I made a mistake. I thought you got to a point once you're mentored, now you're the mentor, but that's not the case. Even Oprah has a mentor. And if Oprah has a mentor and a coach, then certainly we need mentors and coaches.
And your mentor has a mentor. Yeah.
Exactly. Your mentor's mentor. And that's the beauty of the world, right? That's how the way the world is.
To look up to. So I want to talk a little bit. By the way, I got a message from Ruben. We can go till 2:20-ish. So if that's okay for you guys, we'll just hang because we're just approaching 2 o'clock. So figure we'll wrap it up around 2:15. It'll get us out about 2:20.
Yes.
So I was listening to something you were saying, and let me talk about the connections first. So we're all authors here. I introduced Jerry to Mike. They're both authors. Okay. And you were talking about, did I hear you say Sean Penn? Was that Sean you were talking about? What Sean did you say you didn't meet, that you met a couple times, but you didn't know real well, Tony? Sean, you mentioned the name Sean.
Oh, growing up, Shawn Michaels. The WWE wrestler.
Yeah, I know Shawn Michaels.
He's not speaking out of that. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Sean Penn, which is funny because we just edited a book for Jordan Rhodes. If you look him up, he's an older character actor. He's been in a lot of things. I loved seeing him on TV when I was younger. And Sean Penn is doing his forward. So it's pretty funny. Cool. So, we're pretty sure that he's doing his forward, but we were just talking with Jordan the other day. I'm going to have to tell Jordan about the event that's coming up in January. Yeah.
We have Madonna's producer just signed on, he's more than Madonna's producer, but he's produced Madonna, Tifa, Robert De Niro, and everything too. So that's kind of funny. Sean Penn Madonna connection, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Has it 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon? Is that how it goes?
Kevin could be at the next one.
So let me ask you: could either of you or both of you speak to Marco's group? Like I know, Tony, you said you were a teenager when things started changing for you. There's a lot of teenagers out there, which is Marco's platform, is helping these teens not feel like it's the end of the world for them. I mean, I wouldn't want to be a teenager today. Let me tell you, I really wouldn't. And some of these kids, like Marco's been through homelessness. He's been through bullying. He's been through all kinds of stuff and came through that. So he wants to spread that love, so to say, to other teens. What do you think? Do you think this event would be for teens, or you think there might be a possibility of starting or making an event for teens? I don't know. Let me hear some feedback from you guys on how we can motivate teens in this realm.
Sure. Christy, do you mind if I touch base on that real quick?
Go ahead.
So first of all, this event where we're trying to have an amalgam for so many different people. And one of the age group, yes, is younger people. That's, if you asked me point blank, who's my favorite age group to work with, mentor, I would tell you juniors and seniors, all right, in high school. And the reason why I would say that is I'm speaking at a lot of high schools prior, and we bring Kurt Angle, some of the schools. We have the Kurt Angle Teen Challenge and the Anti-Bullying Charity, USA Bullying, United Strong Against Bullying. So we love helping kids. But, when you ask a junior where they're going to be in 2 years, so let me backtrack. You ask a freshman in high school where they're going to be in 2 years. They go, oh, easy, 1, 2. I'm going to be a junior. I'm going to be a junior in high school. Ask a junior where they're going to be in 2 years. They go 1, senior, 2, and sometimes they're going to be a freshman in college, but not always. And so for the first time in their life is not laid out for them. So, it's like Gary Racer used to always talk about that. Gary's one of the top 50 in network marketing of all time. Gary, president of Limu. Mm-hmm. And Gary, I got to plug my computer in. Gary would say point blank, is that if you don't steer your ship, your sailboat, proverbial sailboat, the wind will always take you where you don't want to go, right? So this is what we did for the event. We have a group of people led by my friend Trey Rembert. Trey Rembert's a young gentleman. I call him the next Les Brown. You always want to be the first you, not the next anyone. But in my opinion, he's very much like Les Brown. He's gone viral like 4 times already, I think, on TikTok in the last like month, basically putting his program together. And so we're going to have this giant panel, Eva, of future world leaders. And Trey's going to lead it up, and he's going to be speaking. He speaks a lot to kids. He's wonderful. He's a little bit Les Brown, Eric Thomas combined. Wonderful. He's unbelievable, his voice. He has a voice you just listen to for hours, right? We have my dear friend, Elena Strobel. Elena Strobel she's 20, okay? She's a wonderful human being, all right? And she actually interviews refugees from all around the world. She's 20 years old. She's like 20 going on 50. She's like way smarter than me, right? And she literally interviews refugees from all around the world and shows, how bad it is contrast in many parts of the world. And she's just this beautiful soul. Her and her mother, Cyrus will be speaking as well. So we're going to have a lot of people speaking to that age group. And I would say overall, I would say the best book in the world for younger people to read, and it might take a little while to get it, is Think and Grow Rich. It's one of those books you need to listen to over and over. But it talks about ultimately the law of attraction, the secret to the better a young person can learn about the law of attraction, the more successful they'll be, the happier they'll be overall, I would say.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, Christy, what do you think? You have anything to offer for like a young teen? Do you know? I mean, I don't know how involved you're behind the scenes at this event. Would it be good for a young teen to get involved in this event?
I absolutely think it would be great for them to. I mean, this is
not necessarily teen.
I mean, young people have some brilliant ideas that just need someone.
Not necessarily teens, but that age.
Back them up and believe in the project that they're working on. And I think that will come about at this event. If all they do is show up and listen and then connect with the right people, because that's for me, that's the big thing about this event is going to be the ability to connect with the right people.
Mm-hmm. I had 2 girls on my show. Oh God, it had to be just when we first started the show. No, I don't know. Whenever I had them on many months ago, and they are involved in a robotics team. Like they go to these events. I was blown away by some of the things they were talking about. That they go to these either biannual events where they play games, and each one has a role. Like one writes the program, one writes the schedule, one develops the equipment, and I'm talking like 19 years old, maybe younger than that. And I also found out that from these events, NASA gets information to learn how to run our space program. And I just thought it was so interesting. I mean, I was blown away. I didn't have any idea that that's a thing. So you're talking about, something coming out of nothing, or something coming out of one connection that changes your life. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
It takes one. And if I can share on that note, we have a gentleman there who has his product in the NASA space station for 20 years. And he's now tweaked it. So it's a COVID product. It's been a coronavirus product forever. Coronaviruses are human viruses. And obviously, the space station needs to be pristine. So now they've made it into a nutritional formula, and also these devices you can put in your homes and different things. He's a brilliant engineer. He's going to be speaking, but I want to tell you in regards to two different, I think, motivational stories for people that are going to be there. Is my beautiful wife, Christina. If you know Christina very well, Christina was part of the first ever virtual sorority. So during COVID, my wife's in Penn State right now, and several of her friends put together the first ever virtual sorority, and it's growing like hotcakes. It's really growing. They're speaking this event. So you want to talk about pivoting, right? During the world, they literally created the first virtual sorority. And a lot of these girls are very young. They're like 19, like you said, 20 years old.
That's crazy, right?
It's crazy.
And Marco's 21.
Yeah. And then we're also going to have my dear friend, I love her. If you look up Clarissa Burt, she was in like 20 movies. She was in Never Ending Story. I joke with her.
Name sounds familiar.
I see myself. Yeah. Clarissa Burt. Yeah, she was in Never Ending Story, like 19 other movies. I joke with her. I said, "Do you ride that thing from the movie, or do you like driving a car? Do you ride that dragon thing from and she laughs, But she's creating a book with her buddy Gary Krebs and a whole platform called the Self-Esteem Regime. She was a supermodel in Milan, Italy for 30 years. She's worked with everyone, the Lamborghini family, you name it. And so she wants to help young girls, women in general, but specifically young girls, to feel like they are beautiful, right? And the woman's, she's 62 years old. She looks like, another one that looks 25 years younger than she is, bare minimum. And so she's speaking at the event, and her whole topic is the self-esteem regime. So I think there's going to be a lot there for younger people as well, too. And that's just some. We have a gentleman, Jerem Fry. Jerem is like the next Rudy, in my opinion. We might get him a documentary. Bottom line, 12 years old, he was diagnosed with cancer. Okay, they took his leg off. Okay, it was the most evasive choice. He had 3 choices. He chose that one because the other 2, he wouldn't be able to move hardly at all. So he had them take his leg off because he wanted to be a professional athlete. He then creates something that did not exist. He creates a prosthetic that would allow him to ski. And he skis down the hills like a gazillion miles an hour, like those maniacs that do that. Like, he does that with his device. He created a company out of his device to help other paraplegic people, people who have lost limbs, to do the same. And he created a sport in the Olympics doing that. And now he climbs mountains with his leg and everything. He's unbelievable. Jerem Fry, he's going to be speaking around the time of Rudy from the movie. I mean, my gosh, there's no shortage of inspirational, motivational people that are going to be there to encourage people and show people like what is possible.
And just to give him credit, that's Dan Rudiger. His name is Dan Rudiger.
Yep. From Rudy. Yeah, he goes by Rudy. Yes.
Yep. So interesting. So we're getting close to a little wrap up time. Christy, I had something I wanted to ask you guys, and I lost it when Tony was talking.
All right, I got excited.
That's okay, no problem. I just, like I said, I have a headache, so it's a little tough to focus. Right. First of all, tell us. I wanted to mention this, Clarissa. It would be great to talk with her about my bags, especially the bags that are going to motivate teens, the ones that I'm creating. So, but that was one thought, and the other thought was, how can we talk to you about how you got to where you are? What is it that you actually do now, and how can people find you? Like, did they find you on Facebook? Do you have a website? Whatever that you'd want to tell the listeners, so how they can get in touch with you, and what is it that you actually do now?
I can answer that for both of us.
Okay.
I'm findable on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as either Christy Mann author or C Man author. And it's always at ChristyMannAuthor.com. So you can
it's MANN, two N's in that.
two ends.
Mhm.
That's probably the best way to reach me. And as Anthony's assistant, if you're wanting to get in touch with him, I can relay messages. He has his own methods, and I'll let him share those. But if
Yeah. Sure.
I prefer bat signal. No, I'm kidding. That would be kind of cool though.
I will do it.
You know, that would be
I will
cool.
do it. And we're working on that. We're setting up.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
We're working on that. So I'm more of a Spider-Man guy, so Spider Signal. But Tony at TrueLiving.team. Tony at TrueLiving.team. Obviously Christy as well too. And you know the thing is like this is a comeback for me, right? That's what everyone's saying. Like I was down for 3 years. Again, I don't want to get into all that because one of the speakers at the event, he teaches something called vocabulary. If you look up Mark England, he's a TED Talk speaker with a lot of New York Times bestselling authors and a lot of TED Talk speakers there. And he's a wonderful TED Talk on vocabulary using architect words, not anarchy words. So words that bring you up, not bring you down. Beautiful. I won't even speak anymore, but check out his TED Talk. Mark England, wonderful guy.
And that's got to be like the but and yet thing. Using the word but and replacing it with and or yet.
And it's funny because you know him well too. So Doug O'Brien speaking at the event. Yep. Doug O'Brien taught me that. He would say and Doug O'Brien was Tony Robbins' right-hand man for almost 10 years. And then he left Tony to go work with Dr. Oz. And he's the best. He's great.
Great. He was great. Yeah, cool.
I'm excited. So thank you. Thank you very much. And love you so much, Ava. I really do.
Oh, same here. Love you guys. And so let me just tell you a little bit. For those of you that don't know, I'm Ava Holly. And my company is 4A Star. Like I said, this year, January, I always view as a planning month. So we're kind of tweaking a lot of things right now. Yet generally, 4A Star is an umbrella over the entertainment industry. We work with indie authors, models, actors, entertainers. We did plan events for a long time. Right now, that's not happening. However, we are also doing some real estate things that I'm working with Christy on, and a place where we can bring all of our stuff into one central location. And then we have the empowerment pocketbooks. So if you want to know more about that, hit me up, and you can always find me on Facebook under 4A Star, the number 4A Star. The website is being under reconstructed as we speak. So I'll have that for you. Hopefully by the next time we get together, we'll have the new website up and running. And yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on. Really interesting. I love talking about connections and how we get to meet people and how somebody can actually change your life, you know, and it's so interesting. So again, Tony, it's Tony at TrueLiving.team. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Or find you through Christy, Christy Mann, Mann, and she's on all the different platforms. And anything else you guys want to add before we shut it out? Tony, you said you wanted to say something at the end. Did you want to wrap something up for the event? Hold on, I lost your audio. There you go.
Very briefly, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you can hear me? Look
Now
at that face, it's so funny. All right, so nice. Well, very, very briefly, I want to offer, we've been doing a lot of Instagram lives and Facebook lives and things of that nature. I want to offer a special gift to everyone. We've offered this to some friends. Anyone that's a friend of Ava is a mentor of mine. She helped give me my start, no doubt about it. I love her with all my heart. We are going to do, the tickets are $500 for all access, meaning that you are interacting with the speakers and so forth. We're going to offer a 50% code, meaning you get it for half off for Ava's people for the new year. Christy, can you please give, I know you have a code. Can you please give that code?
The discount code for the website?
Yes.
Yeah, my discount code is Christy. It's spelled capital CHRISTY, capital MANN. Just put that in the promo code and it will bring up you'll see your discount applied immediately.
Awesome. That is awesome. Thank you so much. That's great. I think this is going to be the event of the event. And it's so great that we could do it online because it's like, I'm not really good with setting up all this online stuff. So Christy, you and I could talk about that too, because I really should be doing more stuff online. But I want to thank Hamilton Radio, Ruben, Monk, Gino, everybody who gets us out here each month and gives us this great platform to speak. And again, International Hall of Fame radio host Jerry Petito, who comes on the show every now and again, and maybe she'll come on next month and chat with us too. So thank you guys. Ruben, I guess we're ready to close it out. And I thank you. I really appreciate you guys so much. Ava's Casual Chat, Teens with Dreams with Mr. Panting, and we'll see you the second Sunday of every month in this new year.
Thank you so much for having us, Ava.
Thanks for having us, Ava. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Dreams, yeah. All I wanna do is me when I grow up. Teens with dreams, yeah. All I wanna do is me when I grow up. Teen with a dream don't get no harder. Gets easy once you started. No use in running away. Mr. Panting said you got it.
Yeah, you got that, and it feels so good to be on track. Even when you fall down, ain't no other way around. Your success is determined by your bounce back. Dream.